Well, here's the vise that that I've been working on. This is what I bought for my son for Christmas. It's just a $20 vise from Lowe's because he wanted something for his little workbench. So, but it came with only one lockdown, and here's actually the cap from it. And this is actually the factory bolt. So even after you lock it down, then this side over here still moves. So I told him I would make him another one. So this is the bolt that I just made to replace, in addition to this factory bolt. So all I have left to do now is to make the lockdown itself and then drill another hole, and then I'll be done. But not bad for 20 bucks. It's just locked down with or held in place with a single bolt here in the bottom, so it's allowed to pivot. And with the one bolt, you can actually turn it basically all the way around, but now when I get the second bolt in there, it's going to be fairly limited. But for his purposes, being 6, I think it'll do just fine. Hey guys, welcome back. So for the next part of this project, I am going to go to the lathe and I'm going to turn this small bolt here, which is the lockdown bolt that goes in from the bottom side of the vise. Don't know if you can see it, but it's actually square to where it'll fit in the track or the groove there on the bottom of the vise to prevent it from turning, and then of course it's got the head to give it some mounting surface. I've noticed when I was looking at the bottom side of this is a very narrow head, and I am actually going to beef it up a little bit. This measures about 630 thousandths. I'm just gonna go ahead and make it 0.7 inches, give it a little bit more bite. And instead of doing a 4-sided flattening, which is what they've done, I'm just gonna mill a 2-sided flat because that's all you need, because there's only 2 sides to the groove. So let me get you guys pointed down here at the stock. I've already got a piece of 1-inch stock in the chuck that's already chucked up, and I've already done the indicating on it just to save you guys that. For a lot of my 1-inch stock, I'll stop by Tractor Supply or hardware store, pick up 1-inch bolts, short pieces. If I only need a small piece, sell it by the pound. So that's what you're going to be looking at as a 1-inch piece here. So let me go ahead and get you zoomed in down here. And as you can see, this is a piece that I have actually already used for something else. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little face-off, get my center drilled in there, and go to work on this thing. So here we go. Alrighty. Just a little bit. Let me get the machine turned on. And don't forget your safety glasses. Alright. I'm going to touch off. Just a hair more. A bit of cutting oil. And engage the crossfeed. And since I've already used this piece for something else, the nice thing is I'll just have to just do one cleanup pass for the facing, because it actually is relatively clean from where I parted it off. While that's going on, I'll go ahead and slap the drill chuck in the tailstock. Out of the way. small center drill in there. I think this is actually a number 2 center drill. Just a bit of oil. Just peck at it at first, just to, if there was just a slightest bit of a nub left after facing, so make sure it starts straight. So we get a little bit better light over here for you guys too. Should be a lot better. Right, just enough there to get the center end to support it. Brush that off. We'll slap the old live center here into the tailstock. Bring it up, and here's one thing I figured out early on: is I go ahead and adjust my tool to approximately where it's needs to be for cutting. And in order to get the tailstock as close as possible, to keep a shorter shank over here or stick out on the tailstock, I'll go ahead and run the tool up and see basically where I need to come off at the end of the part here and be clear. So then I can run my tailstock up as close as up to that point, and then bring it up and engage it. And it definitely helps, especially on, like I said, I don't have a baby machine, but it's not heavyweight either. It's just one more thing I can do to keep that, to reduce the flex and the chatter that's going to happen when using the tailstock like that. All right, so I'll bring it in here and touch off. And grab about 50 thou, a little bit of oil, start knocking off those threads there. Like I said, I don't know how many of you guys do that same thing of buying like 1-inch bolts and round stock, but I find it very convenient. I don't keep a lot of material on hand, and but I do have a local scrapyard that I've found that sells everything by the pound. They keep it all sorted: brass, aluminum, stainless, regular steel, and good guys to deal with. And so when I need bigger amounts, I just swing by there. But like I said, for the convenience of it, to be able to just stop by the hardware store on the way home, this is definitely the way to go, in my opinion. Alright. It's getting the plenty of cut there. Alright. Grab about another 50 thou on those threads. Turn in about 350 RPMs. For these high-speed steel or for the cobalt bits that I'm running, it seems to be an excellent feed and speed. So I'll get this whole length of this piece that I need turned down to about 700 thou, and then I'll step it in and cut the next width, which is actually going to be, if memory serves me right, about 550 thou. grab about 40 thou more. Then we're gonna measure and see where we're at. Something cool about seeing that smoke come off of there. Yeah, obviously this tool doesn't have a chip breaker, so you're seeing a lot of little curlies come off of there. But considering the feed and the speed, it's actually, I'm not getting any real long stringy chips, but I am getting tight little curls. Probably, if you uncurled them, they'd probably be a ½ inch long. Alright. Quick wipe and then we'll see where we're at here. Like we're about 748. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 30 thou more, and then I am actually going to hit the tool real quick on the diamond polisher or diamond hone that I've got over there. 30, and then we'll put that finish cut on it to give it a good smooth finish, because I can tell this tip's getting a little bit rough there. Grab this cut real quick, and then we'll go over and just hit it real quick on the hone. Now, if this is something that had to be ultra precise, what I would do is I would hone it, take another 5 or 6 thou cut after honing it, measure it, and then see what I need to finish up. Just because there is, a chance that knock just a small amount off the tip where it changes how it's going to feed in. But for this, if I'm off 1,000 or 2, it doesn't matter at all. So. So we'll head over and give it a quick hone. Well, I'm sure a lot of you home guys are like me, and obviously you're on a budget. And so I do buy things occasionally at Harbor Freight. Actually, the micrometers I use are from Harbor Freight. Of course, little things like sandpaper and that kind of thing. I try to buy stuff there. Drill bits, I've actually had really good luck with their drill bits. But this is one thing that's for about 12 bucks. Is a diamond hone that's 4-sided, and so they're affixed to basically like a plastic square tube. And if you look right here on the end, you'll see 200, 300, 400, and 600 grits. So that's pretty neat. You get all 4 sides, like I said, for about 12 bucks. And typically I use the 400. I find that to be kind of a good, or actually, I'm sorry, the 300 is the one I've been using, is just kind of a good combination, or good grit there. And actually, if you look inside, the plate came off. That's all it is just a square box. And it's got these plates just attached with some kind of little spring clips in there just to hold it in place. But like I said, for $12, something to hone my tools after I take them off the grinder, because I just use a normal bench grinder for grinding my tools. And really all I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to hit the top of it. because my front face and everything is actually in pretty good shape. And it doesn't take a lot. Just a couple more strokes. And all I'm trying to do is just clean up that end over there. Give me that nice sharp cutting edge. And just a few more just for good measure. Alright. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there it is, all cleaned up. Alright, we'll get back over to the lathe and we'll keep turning. Alright, so a little bit different view, but got everything all honed up. Took a quick measurement. I still need about 19 thousandths to come off. And what I'm actually going to do is take 10 thousandths, measure it, and then cut it again. That way I'm sure I'll get a good clean finish and I'll know exactly where I'm at. Yep, actually it did knock just a little bit off there, so touching. Grab about 10 thousandths and see. But you know what? That very end there had already been cut, so I actually base it off of that. So we'll bring it back in until we touch. Yep, we'll grab that 10th out and oh yeah, you can hear the difference. Of course, it's only a 10 thou cut compared to the 40 or 50 I was taking, but it's just smooth as silk now. Grab a quick measurement here and see what we need to finish up. Need about 9 thou. Okay. Tiny little string chips. I don't know if you guys can even see that. Tell you what, a good sharp tool, proper feed and speed. Even on this is, just like I said, just bolts from Tractor Supply. That gives excellent finish. Alright, so I'm still working on the Vise for my son, building the additional lockdown, since his only came with one lockdown and it still has some movement to it. And I need to change my lathe over to cut 16 threads per inch that I need for the bolt that I'm making. So I've got a change gear lathe, but I just thought I'd give a quick rundown on how I do, just how the change gears work. I know some of you guys have quick change lathes, some of you guys may not do any changes, so I just thought I'd show real quick. This is the Precision Matthews 1127 VFLB, which means it's a large bore, 1.5-inch bore. And actually what you're looking at here, this is an outboard spider that I built that actually replaces the factory jam nut that was on the end. And so it's actually the nut that holds the bearing tight and everything, but it's drilled and tapped here to accept spider bolts. So let me open this thing up here and we'll see what we've got. Far enough out of the way. And so what you're looking at, this is, like I said, that nut that I made, just the drive pulley. Here's the actual motor pulley, motor's inside there, here's the housing, and then here's the change gears. So I'm going to grab a few wrenches and do what we got to do. First we loosen the lock bolts so this will tilt out. Remove our little safety clips. There's our first set of gears. Then I keep two different sockets here for tapping out these little splined spacers. Pretty convenient. There we go, there's that set. And this is the setup that I use the most, the gears that I'm taking off, which are my typical standard feed rates that I'm using when I'm doing most of my cutting with the lathe. Take the towel real quick. Bit of a greasy mess, as you can imagine. There we go. At least keep the grit from sticking to them until I put them back on. Okay, my chart here. This is an 80, I need a 60 on the bottom. Off the holder. Set off our 82th bottom gear. Get that grease off. I'll grab a 60. Slide my spacer back on here. 60 on. The lock screw back in. Okay. Now I need a 30 and a 40. I believe this is a 30 that I've been running. Yep, there's my 30. This one should be the 40. Nope, there's my 30-40. This is also a very convenient one. Tapping everything back together. I don't know how other machines are, but this one came with two separate washers for the change gears that are, one's about twice as thick as the other, and it really helps to use the right washer. so that it keeps the gears from rubbing. It actually helps with the spacing of the gears. Alright. Run those down. Back it out just a hair. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little play in there. Don't want it meshed so tight that there's no play. Alright. And then for my top, I'm going to be running 80. Grab one of those. And I need another spacer. That's screwed in. Get it meshed. Back out, give it just a little bit of clearance. Wiggle it, yep, it'll look good. And that's all it is for the change gears. There's a little test spin here. Everything spins good. Alright. Drop our retainers back on there. Engage it with the main spindle pulley or gear. A little clearance. Tighten up our lock nut. And that's pretty much it for that section. So, and then the only thing I've got to make sure of, based off my chart here, I need to be in my A setting, which I am. Switch over to my lead screw, and we are ready to cut some threads. Okay, so I've got the bolt set back up in the forejaw here. I've already dialed everything in, so that's all set. The reason why I went ahead and took the bolt out and parted it off was I had to machine these little flats, and these are the flats that are just going to keep the bolt from turning when it's inside the base of his little vise. That way his locking mechanism will work. So now that I've got it all set up, I'm just going to go ahead and do just a little test cut there and make sure that I've got my thread pitch right, and we'll cut some threads. So go ahead and turn the machine on here. Instead of the layout fluid, I find that the Sharpie markers work exceptionally well. Alrighty. So I've got my cross slide on 0. Let me come in and touch off with the cutter here for. There we go. Zero that out. Dial it in by another thou. Okay. That's where we're supposed to be. Alright, just wait for our number to come around here. And this is going to be a close one, right up against the chuck jaws. Back it out. Alright. Grab the thread pitch gauge here. 16. Try to get it down here where you can see it. I don't know if you can. But we are good. Alright. Back it up a little bit. Get just a little oil on there. Here we go. I'm using a 1/2" cobalt square tool bit that I ground myself. I haven't done any threading actually with any carbide, but this seems to do the trick for my machine. I don't go crazy with it. I don't go and take a 30 thou cut with it. But typically, I do increments of about 5 thousandths. I'm turning about 100 RPMs right now, which just seems like a pretty good speed on this. This will put us at about 35 thousandths cut so far. Looking for around 45, 46. And as I get deeper, I usually back it off and start taking a little bit smaller cuts. I really hope that's showing up good on the camera, especially with that green. I think you guys might actually be able to see it. Alright, and this cut puts me at about 43 thousandths. So I'm going to do my first check here. Grab a file. And I like to hit it with a brass brush just to clean off any loose chips there. Right, grab our nut. We're just using a standard hardware store nut because I haven't actually made the lockdown bolt yet. I mean the lockdown nut. All right, so I've got a little work to do. So. Another 2 thou. That'll put me at 45 on my end feed so far. Check it again real quick. Almost, it wants to start. thou and a half. Not looking for that ultra tight machinist fit, but not looking for it to be terrible sloppy either. Wire brush. Alright, check it again. Pretty much there. That's that super tight machinist fit. So I'm going to hit it with a spring pass real quick just to see if that'll clean it up enough. It is amazing how much material it'll take on a spring cut. Wire brush real quick. Yep. Looks good. So we'll call that one done. Hey guys, well, I didn't get a chance to finish filming all the operations to complete the vise repair. Sometimes being a dad gets in the way, but the good thing is my 6-year-old who I was doing the vise repair for came out and got involved, and I actually got to coach him through doing some threading. Got to show him how to use the mill to mill the flats on the screw that I needed to make. And actually in the process I ended up making one that was about 1/4 inch too short. So I ended up, here's the first one that I made, and as you can see, let me get the light over here a little bit better. As you can see, it has just 2 flats to keep it from rotating. Just pretty simple little screw, but made the first one too short. Have no idea what I did wrong, other than I just forgot to account for something. So, but anyway, so I made a second one, got the vise, got the base extra hole drilled in the base, got everything put back together, and he is ecstatic, to say the least, now that his vise doesn't rotate and that he can have it all locked down in one spot. So I'll show you real quick what what it looks like, and then that'll be a wrap for this one. So let me just take you over there. All right. Well, here is the vise. It is a, like I said, I think it was $24 at Lowe's. So it was his Christmas present because he wanted to have one like Daddy's. So there on that side is the lockdown that I made. And then over here on this side is the factory one. And so then when you view the two of them together, they look pretty much identical. So I did as good of a job as I could to try to make them identical. The only difference is the one I made is going to rust because it may take it back off and blue it, but right now it's just raw finished steel. So, all right, well guys, it's been cool putting together. This is my second video, so I appreciate it, and thank you guys for viewing, and look forward to the next one. See you around. Thanks.